Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Mike, and today I have another video here that I just wanted to make because, oh my goodness, we have been getting so much information about the Black Ops 6 Zombies mode coming up in a couple of months here, and I just wanted to sit and kind of get a lot of my thoughts out about it. There's a lot to go over. It's certainly looking good. I'm very optimistic about it. It looks pretty interesting, especially coming from somebody that has played the mode for over a decade at this point. And I don't know. I just want to get into it and talk about exactly what I'm seeing, what's changing, what's going on in this mode, and what I'm looking forward to genuinely. Because from the gameplay that we've been getting, and a lot of the stuff getting broken down in terms of new features and stuff, this is looking pretty interesting. I don't think it's going to hit the highs of Black Ops 3, but if it's just Black Ops Cold War, kind of improved upon, I think we're in for a solid year. It's going to be really good. So if you want to stick around and listen to a bit of a fanboy ramble on about a little silly zombies horde mode here, feel free to stick around and listen, and be sure to let me know what your thoughts are based on what I kind of explain here for you guys, or if you're already kind of informed on some of the details. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. So first things first, Treyarch has come out and said specifically that Black Ops 6 will focus strictly on classic zombies gameplay, which I could not be more excited about. I am so glad that they are ditching anything open world for this game. It's fantastic. Modern Warfare Z, trash. Outbreak was kind of garbage. I didn't like it. Vanguard was a whole other beast. We are going back to classic zombies, and regardless of if it ends up being good or bad throughout this year, it literally will still be better than anything that has come since Cold War, really, I would say. I'm so happy about it. As far as like the basics and the bones of the mode itself this time around, Treyarch has said that they are taking a bit of inspiration from both Black Ops 3 and Cold War, but I would more so say that Black Ops 3 is the inspiration for a lot of the more minute features, things that kind of happen within the maps themselves, whereas Cold War is the actual bones of the mode, the foundation that everything is built upon. Which is to say that if you're someone who has played Black Ops Cold War, or if you've seen Cold War Zombies, here and there, if you've played Call of Duty within the past couple of years, if you liked Cold War, you will very likely enjoy Black Ops 6. If you didn't like Cold War, I would still say give the mode a shot, because it's going to have a lot of the functions and fundamentals of Cold War kind of iterated on, improved upon. It's going to be pretty well fleshed out, I think, and things are going to be hopefully doing a lot better this time around. Case in point, the loadout system for spawning in is returning. You're going to be able to spawn in with whatever weapon you want. That, of course, coincides with the fact that weapon rarities are returning. So when you spawn in, whatever weapon you have, even if it's an AR, a shotgun, LMG, whatever, it's going to be like a base rarity gun, only dealing small amounts of damage. And you're going to be able to level up that rarity through either the use of salvage, which is also returning, or you can buy stuff off the wall or get lucky from the mystery box to get higher rarity weapons, which is great. Alongside that, the salvage is going to be used for a lot of the other typical things that we have come to expect from the Cold War side of things, buying up your lethals and tacticals, any other kind of support things going on. I'm not sure if the armor replenishing system is going to return. I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it seems like the salvage is kind of simplified in the sense that now there's only one type of salvage. Instead of having both green and blue, there is only green, and that is used for everything in regards to salvage costs, which I think is fairly good. It's one less thing to keep track of when it comes to trying to maintain all of your currencies and all of your resources when you're playing zombies, which I think is going to be pretty cool. Very nice to see a lot of these updates coming in. Speaking of salvage, another thing that's kind of going on with the whole salvage thing is in tandem with the Pack-a-Punch adjustments. Pack-a-Punch is still tier 3s of Pack-a-Punch, presumably 5k, 15k, and 30k for each level of damage increase. The ammo mods from the Pack-a-Punch machine have been moved to the Arsenal station, which, as far as I can tell, is also going to be needing salvage to purchase, which I'm totally down for. I thought it was already a good idea in Cold War that we could pick and choose the ammo mods that we wanted instead of having to rely on repacking over and over and hoping that we get it. So simply just moving it to another machine, I think is fine. I don't think it's really anything to complain about. Everything's just kind of looking good so far. And kind of going on further with some of the more Cold War type of things, exfils are returning. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily because it's the whole thing of like, do you want to exfil and just kind of get out with your reward, with your life, get some extra rewards or not, or do you want to keep on pushing your round boundaries and try to push higher and higher? So exfil is returning. And speaking of high round stuff, um, Treyarch has kind of implemented a bit of a thing here where the self-revive system from Cold War, it is returning. You can have self-revives on you. You can self-revive yourself when you're playing with one or more people. But the self-revives that you can craft in a game of zombies in any game is a maximum of 3. So there is a bit of a hard cap on how many times you can pick yourself up. In multiplayer games, it's gonna, after a certain point, you're gonna have to rely on the others to actually pick you up. Or you could save them. And then in solo, obviously that goes back to the foundation of what we had with the previous quick revive function before Cold War and before Black Ops 4. You bought quick revive, you would get a self revive, and quick revive would do that. Now they're still separate, but it's good to see that there is a bit of a limitation on that now, because in Cold War, having unlimited quick revives was a bit of a kind of breaking of the difficulty there, making the game a bit too easy. To kind of step back from the actual gameplay for a second a little bit, something that I did notice when they were describing some of the heads-up display options in the blog post that they posted shortly after the reveal is that just like the rest of the game of Black Ops 6, the Zombies HUD is going to be completely customizable. You'll be able to get rid of the minimap if you want to. You can shift a lot of the HUD elements around if you want to. There will even be a preset that is going to mimic the way that Black Ops 3's HUD looked. Not exactly, because it's still going to have a lot of the actual UI design of Black Ops 6. Like, the ammo count is going to have that box around it. The field upgrade is still going to have to be there. And just a couple of different things like that that are still Black Ops 6, but it will try to mimic and replicate the positions of things from Black Ops 3. Speaking of Black Ops 3, the Gobblegum system is returning. I am so excited to see how this actually ends up playing in game, because they have ditched any sort of earnable currency to roll for certain Gobblegums. Now you're just granted the ability to earn one or more every few rounds you complete. There is a chance that when you are playing through the game, playing through rounds, every few rounds you'll have a chance to earn a Gobblegum for free. And that goes back into your player inventory outside of the game, and kind of coinciding with how Gobblegums have worked in the past. You will be able to run a Gobblegum pack in the game. It will randomize as you buy through them. Once you get all 5, it resets. And I'm just excited for Gobblegums to be back, man. There's a lot of fan favorites returning. They've changed up the system a little bit, but it is still very familiar. We still have the manual activation ones, we still have timed ones, and we still have conditional ones. I want to say that the ones that they got rid of conditional-wise are the ones that pass by rounds. Or maybe they are still there, because conditional does imply, or timed implies, pass over through time or pass over through rounds. So it's possible, as the game kind of goes on, we will see more Gobblegums to come back. But some of the ones that I noticed from a lot of the promotional material already, there is Perkaholic coming back, Cashback coming back, Phoenix Up, I think was described to be coming back as well. And they already described a new one, Wunderbar, which is going to be a new Gobblegum that, pretty much as it sounds, is going to make it so that the next weapon that you pull out of the box when you activate it is guaranteed to be one of the Wonder Weapons, either the ray gun or the other weapon on the map, which is super cool. I love that Treyarch is not only bringing back some classics, but also trying to get some different ideas out there as well. It's going to be super, super cool to see what they have kind of coming in terms of new for this updated Zombies mode for Black Ops 6. Speaking of new, brand new perk coming to the game, first one in a long time. I don't think we ever actually got a brand new perk to the mode since Elemental Pop with Cold War's launch, but this one is going to be called Melee Macchiato, and it's just a simple melee enhancement perk where instead of using the butt of your gun to hit zombies, you're going to be able to use a super strong punch with your fist, and I'm curious to see how strong it's actually going to be, because we have had other melee enhancements in the past. With the Bowie knife, it could go up to round 9. With the 1-inch punch from Origins, I think it could go up to round 16. The Golden Spork, I think, could go up to round 19 from Mob of the Dead. It's just going to be interesting to see where this perk kind of lines up in the whole scheme of things. Speaking of the perk system, it seems like they're going to be kind of rolling back onto the Cold War style of perk system, where every perk is going to have a set price based on how many you currently own. So your first one is 2,500, the next one is 3K, 3,500, 4K, so on and so forth, until you can buy all of them. There won't be a perk limit, which I'm glad they're keeping. I really wish that they would have just gone with like a set price for every perk, because I feel like, I don't know if that's just their idea of kind of balancing perk power with the player. Like, if you want more, you got to spend more. But I just kind of liked having the perk prices also be a part of the personality of the perks. You know, Juggernaut is 2,500, Speed Cold is 3K, Quick Revive is 1,500, things like that. But it's not the biggest kind of complaint in the world. As far as kind of going back to some of the things in terms of weaponry, really quick, I did mention earlier that there is going to be the loadout system. Which did kind of concern me at first, because I think in Cold War, the loadout system iteration on that game heavily decentivized using the box or buying wall guns. And the only reason to do those was if you wanted to utilize them, because, you know, the whole salvage thing, you could upgrade your weapons rarity, you know, on its own, maybe to kind of further incentivize actually using the box, or, you know, wall weapons. They could make it so that upgrading your loadout weapons rarity is a lot more expensive relative to how it was in Cold War. I think that would be great. But kind of going on that same principle, weapon kits from Black Ops 3 are returning. And that is to say that when you're in the menus prior to a match, you'll be able to go to all of the weapons in the game and set a specific zombie kit for the gun that is going to appear in the game. So let's just say you're going to be building out your MP5. You can set your MP5 with all the attachments you want, what camo you want on it, any stickers, charms, or whatever. You can customize it how you want, and it will appear that way in the game whenever you get it out of the box or off the wall if you don't spawn in with it. And that goes for every weapon in the game, which is super fantastic. I love to see that weapon kits have returned. It kind of returned with the weapon blueprint system in Cold War, which was more of a manual thing. You had to get the weapon, you know, from the in-game itself. It came with its random attachments, but then you could put the weapon blueprint over it. It took a second to load, but they seamlessly revamped that system back into the weapon kits from Black Ops 3, which is fantastic. And speaking of stuff returning from Cold War, the field upgrade system is returning once again. I have a feeling this is going to become just a zombie staple at this point, always having some sort of power weapon in your pocket. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but, you know, it's part of the tool set. It kind of helps. It's kind of fun, whatever. But there are some changes. So as far as the field upgrades themselves go, the ones that are returning are Ether Shroud, Frenzied Guard, Healing Aura, and Energy Mine. My boy Ring of Fire got completely shafted. Definitely deemed too overpowered for the way that modern zombies is kind of going. Similar to Double Tap. Double Tap is not on the perk list for Black Ops 6. Very unfortunate. I have a feeling they could bring it back, you know, in the future. Maybe make one of its upgrades kind of related to bullet penetration or armor damage, which I'll get into in a moment. But one of the new field upgrades is Dark Flare, which its base iteration is going to be just like a kind of dark energy beam that you can fire forward as an offensive tactic, which is going to be pretty interesting, I'd say. I'm not sure if it's going to be as helpful as something like Frenzied Guard. I've kind of gotten used to using Frenzied Guard thanks to Modern Warfare Zombies. Which I guess can lead into really quickly just me talking about the armor system really quick. It is heavily leaning towards what we saw in Modern Warfare Zombies. They are ditching the auto armor fill, like when you just pick up plates off the ground, for manually having to plate yourself up, which I don't personally like that. I think that's my biggest gripe with the mode so far, just having to see the fact that manual plating is now in the game instead of it being automatic. Maybe that could end up being made a change if the community makes a bit of a hassle over it. I'm not holding my breath though, but going back to some of the upgrades in regards to a lot of the things that we have at our disposal, I don't know if weapon class upgrades are returning from Cold War. Like, you know, SMGs would get a better damage profile from up close. Shotguns would get better hip fire and headshot potential, things like that. Not sure if that's returning, but things are returning in regards to the field upgrades and your perks, where everything is going to have what is strictly called an augment. Everything in the game that can be upgraded is going to have 6 augments to choose from, 3 that are major, 3 that are minor, and when you go into any specific game, you can pick 1 major and 1 minor to go on whatever thing you're looking at, whether it be a perk or a field upgrade or whatever, which is nice to see. Things to get upgraded is, I think, really good for zombies mode. I'm not sure if making it in-game is the best choice, because I'd rather focus on just, simply pack-a-punching and now weapon rarities. I don't want to have to focus on trying to upgrade my perks and field upgrades in the game as well. But we'll have to see. While they gave us a lot to chew on, there is still some things that aren't fully explained, which is a good thing, because Zombies is all about self-discovery. It's all about uncovering things, learning the game, and just to kind of offer a side comment here, it seems like they are increasingly just trying to make the mode more dumbed down and more easy to get more players playing, which, I don't know, man. Like, if people aren't willing to put in the time to actually learn the game or play the game with all of the nuances, stop trying to, like, bring them in. Like, we've already tried with Cold War, and even more so with Modern Warfare Zombies, but it's fine. It's fine. Because I can still play the game how I want. And, I don't think there's really much else to kind of talk about. There's just so much to kind of digest, and I guess I'll spend kind of the final couple of minutes here just talking a little bit about some of my thoughts in regards to what's been shown so far. We have only seen Terminus. The other launch map to come to the game is going to be Liberty Falls, which will be further revealed at COD Next in about a week or so, I think, at this point. August 28th, I think, is when it's happening. And presumably a lot of the content creators that will be there will be able to actually play the map. But as it stands right now, a lot of the upgrades, weapon kits are returning. The loadout system still is the same. Kind of like how I said, it's just going to be Cold War, but iterated upon, improved upon, and refined, which I think is a good thing. I didn't really have much to complain about in Cold War, other than the fact that a lot of the story-related stuff and the characters kind of felt devoid of personality. That was my biggest concern with the game. So now that seems to be remedied with having a set crew, with Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya, I think things are definitely looking up. And we'll have to see just kind of how like a lot of the character quotes end up being, because it's one thing to have characters and them just saying things, but it's another to have them simply not say anything of substance. So we'll go ahead and see what they're cooking. We still have quite a bit until the game actually launches. I am curious to see some of the things that are happening in terms of the future DLC, what ends up changing, what ends up getting added, and I am just thoroughly excited to see what Treyarch has for us. There's a lot that they have been cooking, and I don't know, man. Being a longtime Zombies fan like myself, it's just good to finally see classic Zombies come back into the fold. Although Cold War wasn't really that long ago, I say that, but it's been 3 years. It still has felt like it's been a bit too long since we've had like an actual classic good Zombies mode. Seeing Vanguard, seeing Modern Warfare, and it just felt like things have been kind of dragged out, and I'm just kind of glad to have it. Even Cold War kind of felt like a bit of a misstep, just because of the fact that, not to fault Treyarch, but they had to make it through a pandemic, and they had to kind of just scramble things together. They definitely were hearing our feedback throughout most of it, because I noticed that characters, or rather operators like Hudson and Mason, were getting better Zombies-related quotes. Especially Kitsune. She was one of the funniest for operators in Cold War. It's now that we have a canon crew, this is their time to shine in terms of helping to build a narrative and having the characters actually interact with each other in a substantial way. So hopefully things are on the up and up. I'm looking forward to seeing what else they got. As far as things on the Genshin side of things go, I will be super excited to jump into Natlon when that launches. We are super, super close. And by that point, I think I'll be ready to jump into the Black Ops 6 demo weekends when those go live. So a lot of stuff in regards to Zombies. I'm super excited about this mode. I was holding my tongue. I was holding my excitement. Things were kind of looking good, but I was still holding my breath. And now that we've gotten like a full explanation on mostly everything, I'm in. I'm all in, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I hope there are other people out there that share my excitement. If you are sharing that with me, be sure to drop a comment down below and just let me know, because I feel like I'm the only one kind of losing my mind here. It's just exciting to finally have something new. Even if it doesn't end up being the greatest, it'll be good to have something new, and I'm always happy to celebrate that. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and end off the video here. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out, everybody.